talk about the samba that you just played.
Okay. Which is perfume de cebola, essence of onions, you know. So it's a good example actually of how you can play percussion and drums at the same time. You know, it goes. The intro is just normal. It goes, and then it goes, okay. Right here, I play
On downbeats.
instead of,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Because it requires, I think the beat is better like this on the intro of the song that goes ta 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 ta. You know, there's a lot of ups on the melody, so that's why I go ta 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 da da da, right?
Okay.
Instead
that makes
of
a lot of sense.
Instead of going ta 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 da da. You know, it's like too complicated, so I just go. Right. So then I go.
Now that has those little pickups there in the surdo and the floor tom.
Right.
Go,
right.
go, boom. And that's also in your book. Is that a really a significant way of playing samba?
Well, yes, to me, yes. It's a very basic, you know, if you want to give it, you know, a lot of, you know, like bass to a whole band to play, if you know, it's more solid, I think, because you kind of go, which is the partido alto thing, you know.
Okay, right.
Right? So you kind of play partido alto, but on the tom-toms and snare, you know.
So if it's like a two-bar phrase in samba, not necessarily in this tune, you'll keep kind of a higher sound, bop, bop, doom, doom, bop, bop.
Right, right, right.
Boom, boom, bop, bop.
Doom, doom, ba, ga, doom, doom, ba, ba, doom, boom, It flows better.
Okay. And you can put that anywhere.
And you go, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Of course, it's faster, you know, but that's the way it goes. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. For the bridge, which goes, it's more like a baião melody. You see, like so. Then I go, which is not a baião really, because if it was baião, it was like, you know.
So it's more based on the melody of what's
on
happening.
The melody again. That's true.
So sing that and play
so it's
that.
See, that's the way it goes.
And then back to the samba.
Yeah. And then I change like ba 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 da. Oh no. Ba da da da. Again, right?
It's nice to put those little breaks in your tunes, your arrangements, because that gives you another chance to get your other sound source.
Yeah, it's true. Actually, we do it Many times we do it purposely. We have to have
Have a
something
break.
so Gary can change, you know, from saxophones to keyboards and press 4 buttons there, you know.
Right.
And, you know, meanwhile, we just go shh, blah, 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 do, 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 boom, boom, blah, ba, da, ba, 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 da. 1, and then he's ready.
Rest.
You know, it's the same thing to me
Yeah.
and to José. Sometimes José has to change his, you know, things,
Right,
pedals
right,
and things.
right.
So
Now-
we do rehearse like that. Yeah.
Now, when Flora is not singing and comes back and plays shaker, does that change what you're playing at all? That's all orchestrated and thought out too, right?
Yeah, but you know, Flora actually, she's. You don't have to tell Flora, you know, like you play this, you play that, because she's pretty good on it. She's good on it. Actually, on Return to Forever, she was the percussionist there. I was playing trap drums. See, people they hear the percussion in those records, you know, Light as a Feather and Return to Forever. They think it's me playing percussion, but it was Flora.
Wow.
See, yeah.
So it was
I was
recorded
playing-
at the same time? It was live?
Yeah, it was live.
Airto, can you take us on a tour of your table?
Yeah.
Can you begin
Oh,
with the
my.
different like ride sources that you have? You play a lot of things from your drum setup, which we'll get into.
Yeah.
But you can use your right hand on the cymbals, hi-hat, and then move it over, and you've got cowbells and this very unique tambourine type
Right.
situation over here.
Well, you see, the conception is when you pick something up, let's say this, the shaker, right? And you play the shaker. And then you pick another shaker up and you go, right? So it's nothing else you can play because your hands are taken, both hands. So I wanted to play more sounds always, right? So what I did actually is to set up almost like a drum set, okay? And then I can play with sticks. And then the first thing, when I was playing with Miles Davis actually on the 70s, I was just putting my instruments in the floor, okay? And I would sit on the chair and pick them up and play. And which, you know, worked out well with that band. But then if you're playing also the groove, okay? You know, how can you keep the groove and play all the colors and everything? It's kind of hard. So then I adopted a table, a small table. And then the second thing, Peter Engelhardt, which is a friend of mine, that he makes all this stuff here. You know, he's a metal sculptor and instrument maker. So Peter built a table for me, like a special table, nice. It was not even this one; it was an older one. And I put a bass drum under it, you know. So it was like I had the bass drum finally, and then I could hit all these things. And little by little, I set up. It's almost like a small drum set here, see? Because over here I have the the cymbals, let's say. Okay. Even though it's a much funkier sound
Now
than
that's
a
something
cymbal.
that Peter made?
Yeah, this he made a long time ago. Actually, this was, if not his first instrument, it was one of the very first ones.
Really?
And actually, he just came to see me in Berkeley another day, and he was like, "Oh, you still have that," you know. So
It was something
I
he-
like this because it's got a good sound, and it's, you know, pretty funky,
Right.
natural, even though it's metal. And I can hit this, you know, like real hard and never breaks. So, you know, I can really, you know, take big, good blows on this.
Now, what's,
And,
what's the pad on top of that?
Well, that's for my special things here. I have these two brushes here, which, you know, this one, let's say you have this sound. It's more metallic, right?
Right.
Then you want a more natural kind of sound. You have this. So then it's like, this is almost like tom-toms. See? like I did a tour with the Crusaders. I mean, I did many tours with them.
Right.
The Jazz Crusaders or the Crusaders, whatever. And one of the main rhythms that I was playing with them, it was like, I'm going to use the bass drum too, and just you will hear the sound.
Okay.
It's like, so I am actually using this as a cymbal or a hi-hat.
Hi-hat, yeah.
And this as tom-toms. You see? That's the tom-toms too. And this is like some effect, some crazy kind of cymbal. So, you know, you go. But the main axe really is this one here,
that.
and the bass drum.
And all those you can get from sitting down.
Yeah, because you know when I sit down, I'm playing the drums, which you know we'll get to that later on. But then I can reach everything here, like a. And I can play this. I can even reach as far as here and here.
And you also ride on, these are also Peter's.
Yeah, I ride on this.
You ride
too.
on the springs.
Yeah. And then I can pick something up like this, and just go. Those are different patterns,
Yeah.
Or something like this, go. Many things you can do, and at the same time, you play rhythm, And you put it down, I never put these things down like this. Actually, I put it down much more gently, like gentle like this, bam. So you don't make too much noise when you put things down.
Right.
And what I do, I keep an eye on everything that is on the table. I know exactly where they are.
Right.
So, if I need a sound right away, I just go, yes, boom.
Right.
And I have that sound,
Do you keep your metals together and your woods together?
Actually, it happened kind of naturally. They are kind of together, but I don't try to do that.
Right.
Separate metal. I play, let's say, as a sound, yes, but not the instruments. I don't have to keep all the metal in one place.
Okay.
But you're right. It's kind of they're concentrated right here.
Now, the one thing that I've noticed when we were setting up yesterday, you've got all these things on tape. There's tape underneath. That's the key to letting them vibrate and sound, and also keeps them in place from
it's
running
true.
around.
I mean, listen to this cowbell here. It's a full, nice, full sound, right? Now, okay, you take this and you put it down. See? This is what you get, and this is what you get. See, it's a huge difference.
Right.
So what I do, I put one tape over here. Forget about Velcro, doesn't work. Okay, I'm sorry, Velcro, but I tried everything really. And you put, another little ball, with the tape. Right. You put it over here. Don't put it in the center because then you take the sound out of the instrument. So you put it over here. one here and one right here, and you keep this area open for resonance. And then the instrument is in the air, you see.
That's great.
It's right, it's suspended.
That works
kind of.
better for you than having the things mounted and
Yeah,
through
yeah,
rods and all that.
I don't know. I like funky things because it's no complication. You know,
Right.
if the tape comes off, you make another ball and boom, and that's it.
Right.
And then if the mouth, you know, breaks, then you have to call somebody, you know.
Right.
And it's no good. You know, you have to be able to fix your own things. Otherwise, you know, it's just, you need a technician 24 hours a day to take care of your stuff.
You've got them taped up too on the mouth here, right? There's a little
Oh.
pad inside this one a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah, so they don't ring too much. They don't go bang, bang, you know, like this one here. See? The difference. Because that's open. That's really to be like this, you know, it's like bang, you know. But this, I don't want them to. I want this to sound almost like drums, you know. Like round. Plus, I play with, most of the time I play with mallets, hard mallets and soft mallets. This looks like something else. But. So anyways, then I have other things here. I have, you know, my little toys here, Japanese toys, you know. You can play anything like tak chicka tak chicka tak chicka tak chicka. You can go as an effect, or you can play rhythm.
Earthquake, that's a 3/4 samba?
Yeah.
First, let's talk about the bass drum. It doesn't have to play anything, like you're not in 7, so there's not an extra single or something in there. It can just keep floating along. Da-doom, da-doom, da-doom. But where would the accent be?
1, 2, 3.
Okay. Add in the rest of that.
Then would be
Yeah, the right hand has a specific ride pattern that's in 3/4, so that helps outline where the phrase is. That's real nice.
Right. Yeah.
Now, what about the tom patterns? Are those based on anything in particular, or are those just melodic phrases that?
Well, it's based in the tune, actually. You see, it goes. You know, like. It's almost the same phrasing as the tune, but not quite the same. So it will carry the rhythm, you know, the pattern. But in reality, it's based on the tune, that particular part of the tune.
When you create these tunes with the band, do you start, what do you find first? Like a ride pattern that goes along with the bass drum, and then you start improvising different things? Or?
Yeah. What happens is, as they try the harmony of the, you know, and different beats too, I mean, because everybody has to figure out what they're going to play.
Right.
And the way we rehearse with the band, with this band, actually, is we create the music together. We are all there all the time. It's like we don't write it, you know, write the music down and then come to the rehearsal and try it. You know,
here's
you don't
the
do
demo
that.
tape, yeah.
Yeah, so we just get, okay, how are we going to do the introduction for this thing, you know? So José has many ideas, you know, and we kind of pick them and, you know, and come up with something else. And so Flora has her own ideas, you know, about the singing and phrasing and many things. So we work together. So I have to fit every part of the tune. I have to have a good beat for it. You see, that's a very hard, not a very hard, that's really beautiful. I really enjoy to do that. Actually, I was going to say that is hard, but it isn't. You see, I like to rehearse sometimes more than I like to play. Not most of the time, of course, because when you play for the people, it's a different thing.
Because it's purely creative?
Yeah, because then you get into this space that, you know, you have so many ideas and you are open. You see, your spirit is open for the energy to, you know, to come, you know, and express, you know, itself. And so this energy brings, you know, different ideas, you know, great ideas. Sometimes from a little tune we make like a great tune because of the arrangement, you know. And it's really interesting to work like that. So I have to have a pattern or something worked out for every part of the tune. Even though it's the way we play them, the way the band plays and Flora sings and everything, it makes it lose some ways. You know, if I don't go exactly like, you know, if I go like, it's okay too, you see? So it's always open for that vibe to, to express itself. And at the same time, it's an arrangement that is pretty solid.
If there was somebody just playing bass, not keyboard bass or Jose's guitar or something, would you play any differently in these?
Yes. Yes. Probably then I would be playing. So without like.
Right.
Because I have to help. I mean, I don't have to, but in this case, I am playing also the bass. I'm helping the bass. Right. So I came up with these beats because they fill the space much better.
So we've covered your percussion table. Now let's go to the drums. You're in quite a unique situation here. You've got a bass drum over here and some toms here. And can you go through your setup?
Right. Well, as I told you before, I had first I was sitting on a chair.
Right.
And I had my percussion around me. Then I got a small table. Then I got a bass drum. I play drums always, but separately. And then little by little, I kind of incorporated a drum set into my percussion table, which I didn't do it like the opposite, which is to have percussion around your drum set.
Oh, okay.
Because that's what most people, they do. So anyways, I have a whole drum set here, even though when I stand up, if I want to play percussion, right, or whatever, if I want to play something here with the bass drum and the toms, I can do it. It's like, right? And then I can just go or whatever. And then if I want to play just drums, then I'll sit down. I have a high kind of seat, right? And then I have an extension pedal here that you can see.
Right.
That's the same, is the same pedal. I never use them both at the same time because I don't need them for that.
It's just a normal double pedal.
Yeah, so I can just slide, in the seat. And I have this extension hi-hat here. That gives me the hi-hat right here. Is attached to the crash cymbal. Yeah. So here I have the bottom, and the hi-hat.
Right.
And
so actually, although it looks very different, everything's in basically the same spot. Your snare drum is over here, close to your hi-hat, small tom, medium.
Well, the only thing that is different is that instead of the snare drums to be in between my legs here,
right,
the floor tom it is.
Right.
So I don't have to go like this to play the floor tom, or maybe like this, because it's right in front of me.
Right.
But then I have to go like this to play the snare.
Yeah.
See. So it changed a little, but not that much,
But you play more floor tom because of the pseudo parts and so forth.
Yeah, it's true. I am kind of I play full set most of the time.
Well, so you've got the bass drum playing the samba bass line and creating the bottom. That's kind of a normal drum set part, but you reinforce it with the floor tom.
True. Yeah. So I'll help the bass also. The bass part.
Right.
Could be something like. Let me see a rhythm that we play. No matter what I play up, like I always I go back to, because that's is to reinforce the bass. It's like reaffirm that the beat is there, the groove is there, is set. No matter what is going on up here, and like no matter what the vibe is up here and what is going on, the rhythm, the groove is always there when you go back to your basics.
And the snare drum is over here, but you don't play a lot of backbeats. It's not backbeat oriented. It's more of a melodic style.
Yeah, well, you know, we have some songs that is got that new Brazilian thing that is almost like a backbeat, like. That's almost like a backbeat thing. But we don't play that many songs like that. Because there's so many people playing that anyways right now.
Okay, now so from there you can play up on your cymbals, of course.
Yeah, and I can, you know, I can reach all my percussion from here to it. And I'm like, you know, I'm playing that. Let's say I play a solo, you know. So I can have like full percussion and gongs, and at the same time I can have the drum set, you know, which is very practical. I think, you know, it's something that, you know, if I had never done this, I would do it if I see somebody doing it. You know, because I think drummers, they have to know more about percussion. And percussion is the same way, vice versa, because you see, in order to really, you know, like the drummer is the pilot and the percussionist is the co-pilot, right? Something like that. And if the co-pilot doesn't know what the pilot knows, then they cannot navigate the plane real good and steady, you see? Because, you know, if I don't know what the drummer is going to play when he goes for it, I have to know what he's going to do already before he does. If I don't know, then I just keep playing something that is not going to fit, you know, with what he's going to do, and vice versa. You know, if the percussionist is grooving real hard, then the drummer should be playing more tops, you know, more like that. You know, the drummer doesn't have to be going. So it's almost like, it's really like working together and sharing.
Trying to be aware and to create some contrast in what's going on.
Yeah, exactly, to create the contrast and to understand each other. You see, like a percussionist now, you know, being a percussionist now is very nice, is a nice thing, you know. When I grew up, a percussionist was the guy that helped the drummer, you know, to set up the drums and everything. And we were rhythmists. We played rhythm. You see, we were called rhythmists. The percussionists were the people who played in symphonic, you know, like classical music. And they, you know, they could read and they could play everything, all the classical stuff. So those were percussionists. We were rhythmists because we played rhythm. So it was all, you know, it was almost like, okay, go get some hamburgers for us, you know, and beer, you know, whatever. So, but now it's different, you know, being a percussionist, it's real good, you know, these days, because every band that you see, they have 1, 2, or 3 percussionists, you know, in rock and roll and everything, you know. So a lot of bands, they have percussionists these days, and that's why it's very important for you to know exactly how to complement the drummer. And then for the drummer to just give some space to the percussionist and understands what the percussionist is doing. Sometimes in the middle of like a hard rhythm thing, all of a sudden, you know, you hear, you know, something like this, you know, which is could sound a little bit alien to the. You know what I mean? But then, if you are open and you understand what he's doing, then it will sound good. Because the vibe will be good. And when the vibe is good, the music sounds good. And there's no doubts about it. Running.
I hear you say, I know you leave someday.
Hey, São Francisco River, I see you every day, running to meet the ocean. Someday I'll go away.
Rainbows you show to me, colors of birds so free. It seems I hear you say, I know you leave someday.
Hey, São Francisco River, I see you every day, running to meet the ocean. Someday I'll go away.
So Baião, a long time ago, and I mean even now, is still the same, which is like, it's just. You know, it's not.
It's not so static like
Yeah,
that.
it's like a big, sometimes big mistake that happens with drummers. They get distracted, and instead of going, they go, and becomes like
Like a 3/4. Yeah.
becomes a waltz, you know, a 3/4 kind of thing. You have to be careful to make sure that when you play this kind of rhythm, the baião kind of rhythm, you go. So it's like dum 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 gum gum gum. You know, it's like open.
Just like all the other percussion instruments
Yeah.
with the head doing that.
Right.
So
because, you know,
it's not so much hitting it that much harder, but putting a little more effort and closing that head up.
yeah,
And then
that's
you
true. yeah.
definitely play some
Quickly.
open and some closed tones
Yeah,
with your bass
that's
drum.
true. That's the same principle.
The sun is out. That beat is based on a frevo.
Yeah, that beat is based on the frevo again,
Okay.
but it's more frevo than marcha, you know, this
Okay.
one,
All right.
which is Carnival from Recife, which is the land of frevo, you know. The people, they dance with a little umbrella and they go cha cha. It's almost like the Russians, you know, they go down their knees and
Right,
up and down, you know, they kind of dance like that.
Is that North or South Brazil?
North Brazil, northeast, yeah. So it goes, well, I'm going to play fast first,
No
and
problem.
then I try to break it down. 1, 2, Okay, so that's basic rhythm. Then you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4. So basically, the left hand does the same thing, pretty much like, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. all
And
right.
then the right one changes a little bit. It's like. Yeah, that's the way. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, 4. See?
That's interesting between the hi-hat and the stick in
Yeah.
the left hand.
That's really strange.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Didn't realize that before.
And the bass drum's just playing a
Dun,
steady.
dun, 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 dun.
All right. And then what's our ending tempo? What do we need to get that up to for the tune? Another party tempo.
So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, like sometimes you go 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, like 1, 2. But that's just a variation, you know.
Like
basically,
sort of just some kicks. you know,
right,
that
right,
type
like
of thing.
tack, tack, you know, whatever. You
Now,
know.
is your left hand helping out with that roll there that comes in there, or does it just keep that same steady
see.
thing?
No, it's the same.
Okay.
Yeah,
It
keeps
stays in there.
yeah.
You just left and right.
Yeah, it stays there, actually. Keeps playing the same thing. And he goes, so then, you know, and I vary the rhythm. Again, there is a part that goes, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, then it's like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Pull the left hand out of there. That's slick.
Yeah?
Break it down with separate your hands from that so we can
Okay.
see that melodic pattern.
1, 2, 3, 4.
In your live shows, I've had the pleasure of seeing several of them recently, and you start the evening out with a free piece, and it's quite an experience. And I wonder if you could just talk about the conception and how you approach that type of playing.
Well, yeah, it's true. I like to start with a free stuff. So the sounds of nature, you know, like things like this, you know, it's like when you go, you know, this is a nice sound that reminds you something, but you don't really know what it is. It's like, oh wow, you know, what a pleasant sound. You almost like bring nature to the city, you know, or to the club or to the concert, you know, to the people. And you take people from, you know, their chairs, from their seats, and you take them out in this energy, right? And you get in touch with this energy that is in the air anyways, and you bring the energy and you communicate with them, and you go, you know, you go like this, and then you get a bird call or something, you go, you do some chanting, hey, oh, because, you see, when I was a kid, my father was a spiritual healer, actually. And I grew up watching him, you know, helping people all the time. And so he was in touch with us, what he used to call universal energy, right? So the universal energy is around us, and right now there is two worlds at the same time that they coexist together, right? Is the spiritual and the material world. The material is right here, you know, that we are right now. You know, I can see you, I can hear you, and everything else. And the spiritual world, it's almost like if it was a glass here, and on the other side is the spiritual world, which is just a continuation of this world. It has people just like us, but they don't have a body, you know what I mean? That was the principle that I learned. So I really believe that when I play and I get this vibe, you know, this energy, and I go, oh, you know, and if I really open myself and I let it go, like, wow, I kind of generate this energy in spirits, you know, like people that they live on the other side, of the spirits of great musicians. They might even come and help me on that, you know. So, you know, a saxophone player might just be playing great phrases all of a sudden, like Coltrane used to play, you know, if he's really open to it, you know, to let that vibe, to let that energy flow through you. Because when you get that energy flowing through you, you get the vibe, you get that energy from the other side of this one, which this is the material side, right? And then you get the other energy from the other side and you bring it to you, and then through you it goes with the music, it goes with the sound to the people. And they feel that, and immediately they settle, you see? Like we had played in clubs or concerts or picnics, you know, like the Playboy Jazz Festival or things like that, you know, just like everybody's eating hot dogs and walking around and saying, oh, great concert, you know. But we had played in places like that. When you play a free and you really go for it, everybody's quiet because they feel there is something there. And that something is that energy that exists, you know, it really exists all the time around us. We just have to keep in touch with that. That's why I play the free thing in the beginning to get the people settled on that energy that we want to create together. And then we go on with the music, and they go on with us, and we take them into a trip.
Quando o beijo é sincero, tem perfume de cebola. Escutei da bomba gira, o que ouviu da bomba rola. Meu amor foi me deixar.